Hello, and welcome to Bible History You Never Saw Coming. I'm Anne Lafferty, and I'll be reading from my book, Let All Who Read This Book Be Warned. We have briefly touched upon some new visitors to planet Earth. These are called gods or angels in the Bible. We may label them aliens to earthly dimensions, but they were perfectly capable of visiting the renewed Earth of Adam and Eve. They were also capable of, at first, taking wives all that they chose. Now here's a conundrum. How can a spiritual being mate with a human? Well, here's a possibility. They were not spirits, and they were not human either. How is that possible? Well, consider this. A donkey's not a horse. A horse is not a donkey. But they have enough genetics in common to produce a mule. The mule is somewhat like both of them, but not like either of them. We will discuss the evidence for the children of the human angelic unions. Did the gods really descend to earth? Or am I just relating an ancient myth to keep my story exciting? Well, consider the proof. There is an immense amount of strange archaeological findings, and now researchers are beginning to put together the evidence found that archaeologists simply considered anomalies in days past. The ancient ruins of incredible pyramids and works of stone throughout the earth cannot be duplicated today for their complexity. The elongated skulls of the dusty dead in places like Tiwanaku speak of another influence, and the perfectly aligned massive blocks used for its construction at 13,000 feet still a mystery. Today, with a modern-day town located nearby, Tiwanaku is a great ruin. Massive stone-faced earthen mounds rise from the plain. Nearby are great rectangular platforms and sunken courts with beautiful cut stone masonry. That's by Owen Jarris in 2013. In 2003, a very strange mummified skeleton was found by Oscar Munoz in the Atacama Desert of Chile. This peculiar specimen was only 6 inches long, presumed an infant. But the oddest thing about it was its reptilian pointed head and serpentine features. With DNA testing, it was determined that the remains were human with specific mutations. The bone density of the person was that of a 6-year-old child, not an infant. The Nok culture in West Africa long vanished, crafted statues of people with long, snake-like heads, slit eyes, and thin reptilian lips. The elongated skulls of Paracas in Peru caused a stir in 2014 when a geneticist that carried out preliminary DNA testing reported that they have mitochondrial DNA with mutations unknown in any human, primate, or animal known so far. Now, a second round of DNA testing has been completed, and the results are just as controversial. The skulls tested, which date back as far as 2,000 years, were shown to have European and Middle Eastern origins. These surprising results changed the known history of how the Americas were populated. How interesting that they have Middle Eastern origins, the very location we are discussing in this book. In a document fragment found in a cave among the Dead Sea Scrolls, Lamech, the father of Noah, sees the chief angel of darkness, a watcher named Melchirisha. Here are his words. I raised my eyes and saw one of them. His looks were frightening like those of a viper, and his face was like that of an adder, and his eyes. An adder's a snake, right? The reptilian guise of possible seraphim bloodlines have been thoroughly examined and discussed by authors like David Icke. From human angelic unions, the gods and demigods of folklore have come down to us. Some of the rulers, particularly those of extremely advanced Egypt, were unusual in appearance. Akhenaten, one of the pharaohs of Egypt, had a distinctly serpentine appearance. Serpents have a great deal of influence upon all ancient symbolism, including the serpent in the Garden of Eden. Seraphim are literally flying serpents. Astronomers in early times measured the angle and position of planets and stars and built pyramids and other mysterious megaliths accordingly. Therein lies a hidden message: the duplication of heavenly structures and the desire to eventually rule again from these structures. Ancient ruins in the Middle East are anchored at points of longitude that form a pentagram. That's from the David Flynn collection, The Altars of Mars. Pythagoras of Samos was a famous Greek mathematician and philosopher, and he lived circa 495 BC. The symbol of the Pythagoreans was a star pentagon or pentagram, a 5-pointed star formed by drawing the diagonals of a regular pentagon. Number mysticism postulates that the 5-point star or pentagram, when upright, symbolizes the 5 elements of earth, air, fire, and water, with the top point symbolizing spirit. The name Pythagoras is translated the serpent. And we'll talk again about this on Monday. And remember, never lose your ambition to think.